everybody. Welcome back to Kruse Control. It is Monday, July 10th, 2023. Welcome to Monday Night Kruse Control, everybody. Welcome to Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. Happy Monday. Welcome back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it sure has. I've been better, but here we go.
We're at the end of the Rona. So Rona, right?
I'm feeling amazing right now. I'm ready to do a backflip. Pardon my lack of enthusiasm.
Well, thank you for being here,
got
Sabrina.
enough energy for all of us.
I'm really. I'm gonna try really hard.
And also joining us back here on Kruse Control is Sabrina and myself, the lovely, the enigma herself, Rachel Blakely, and I will find more to say one day. But Rachel, welcome back to Kruse Control. How you doing tonight?
That was it. I think it was enigma.
Great.
I think there was something more than enigma. I think it was like dangerously delicious or something like that. I don't know.
It definitely wasn't that, but I like it.
No, I like it, but I'll take
it. Rachel's like, don't call me dangerously delicious. I mean, I don't know. It's Monday, everybody.
That's quite the compliment. I would take it.
I feel like I'm like edging in on Chester Cheetah's territory though with dangerously cheesy.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Don't need a cheetah coming after me.
No, it's never good.
I will whoop that cheetah's ass. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Take that cheetah right away. Rachel, how was your weekend? Was it good?
It was good. I was here Friday with you all and then didn't do much, and now it's Monday and I'm back.
We had some touchy ghost action going on Friday. It was a good day. We had a lot of fun. Since we were gone so long, there's just so much news happening. And again, a lot happened over the weekend. Some stuff we touched upon Friday, touching some more upon today. There's no touchy ghost, but we do have some breaking news. Get it? All right, the very first thing that I want to dive right into is Bupkis. That's right, Bupkis is coming back for season 2. Pete Davidson's show on Peacock is coming back. Now, if you're wondering, like, what's Bupkis really about? Well, Bupkis is a Peacock series about Pete Davidson's life in a lot of ways. It's a semi-autobiographical series based on the former SNL's attempt to, work through his family dynamics and then his complexities to form meaningful relationships in his life. Now, you have Edie Falco coming in to play his mother. You have Joe Pesci in here playing his grandfather. Great cast, written, executive produced by Pete Davidson himself and starring Pete Davidson. It's a lot. He's also got Lorne Michaels in here helping him executive produce through his production company, Broadway Video. So a lot of people helping him make this product. You had a lot of people just guest starring. You had Machine Gun Kelly, you had Steve Buscemi, you had Charlie Day. Even Al Gore was on this show for a season. But this is coming back for a second season. And if you're wondering, well, where does this go? Well, at the end of the season, Pete Davidson drove a car into something and had a huge accident. And it sounds like real life to me because Pete Davidson actually drove a car into a house and made a huge car accident in real life. So it's like, I guess art imitates life, but that's something that happened in real life. Now, they're saying it's a misdemeanor. This is an actual thing. I'm not even joking. It's like really happened. So they're saying it's a misdemeanor. On March 4th, we talked about this before in the show. He drove his car into a house off Rodeo Drive and Alvarado Avenue in Beverly Hills. Now, allegedly, he lost control. He was not under any kind of drugs, they were saying. He struck a fire hydrant and plowed into the side of the house at about 11 p.m. So this happened. He has his girlfriend at the time in the car with him, actress Sue Wonders, who he met probably on Bodies, which is a show they just both worked on together. She's also been on Generation for Max, another show. But they were in there, and they believed that it was a thing that, it was reckless driving. That's what the LA attorney's office is saying. It was reckless driving, so they're charging Pete. And we'll see what happens with that going forward. But it's some good news and some bad news for Pete Davidson, I would say.
I when you just said all that stuff about the show, I knew about the show, and I know Edie Falco and Joe Pesci are in it, and I've been meaning to watch it. I just haven't been able to. I mean, good for him. Like, what a star-studded cast. Lorne Michaels behind him. He's getting another season. Like, one of my boss's good friends actually does a cameo. He plays a version of Brad Pitt because Brad Pitt could not make it to shoot the scene with Pete Davidson in the show. So Rob shows up and shoots the scene as Brad Pitt. It's very funny. I did see that one scene. Alexa, no one asked you. Thank you. No, she's not sure. She was very sure a minute ago when she was interrupting. So anyway, that's all I
She had
really
some
know about the show. I really want to check it out. I'm Team Pete Davidson, so I think they should leave him alone with the reckless driving and go season 2 of Bupkis.
I'm honestly, it's just a weird happenstance that it all kind of happened at the same time. I mean, the show didn't air yet, but the fact that they had probably shot that way in advance. That's how it goes. So it's just very weird to me. Rachel, what do you think about this situation? Were you a fan of Bupkis, and do you think this is all like, again, was it all planned for the show? Was it a publicity thing? 'Cause it could have been. There's been weirder things that have happened in Hollywood.
I mean, now that you bring that up, maybe I haven't seen the show. I not that I have anything against the show, I just haven't gotten around to it. I think it's in Los Angeles, where the weather is usually pretty good, and that photo didn't seem like there was any bad weather. There wasn't any ice to slip on. There wasn't any rain going on. The neighborhood seems like it's pretty spaced out. I don't understand how you hit whole ass house while not being intoxicated, or if it's not on purpose. Like, it's a house. Did you not see it there, bud?
It's a big white house too.
Like, I like Pete Davidson and all, but like, clearly, like, you hit a house for a reason. Something happened there.
It's very odd. And even when we talked about this back in March, I was like, something seems fishy about this overall. Like, it just seems odd to me, especially because he doesn't even live in LA. So he was probably just visiting. And it's like you're visiting LA and then you get into a car accident at 11 o'clock at night. Normally you jump to conclusions, like that game that you play to jump to conclusions. Little Office Space. But it's like, that's what it seems like. It's like, it seems like there's something more behind this. As if you ask me,
he probably was driving very fast and turned the wheel too quickly and fishtailed. It happens.
And it's not his car, so maybe it was something with that too.
Fishtail that far. Because, like, again, the lawn's huge. How do you not regain control at some point before you hit the damn house?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. Your things are happening. You're fishtailing. Now you're on a lawn. You're like, what do I do? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't have a good reflex situation. He smokes a lot of weed. Maybe his reflexes are slow. I don't know.
It's true. I blame it on the Crohn's. Maybe he had to shit really bad, and so like he was just swerving because he was about to go in his pants.
Rude. So rude,
hey, I've been there. I know. It's like, it's Crohn's brothers. I get it. You know what I mean? You have an issue.
Into a lot of houses.
And you crash into a house.
Regularly.
And it becomes a normal thing. And you're just like, whatever, Crohn's. Give him your Crohn's card and you move on. That's all it is. I don't know. It's weird to me. It smells like something's up. It seems like it's planned. Almost like it also seems like from the get-go, they were planning on this, but there's a Ken spinoff coming from the Barbie movie, apparently. It's apparently in development because people have been loving Ryan Gosling in the trailers. Of course, people were giving him hate before about like, how can he be Ken? Doesn't make any sense. And he's in the trailer, people start also, they love him. And look at him, this fool, he's laughing his ass off. It's hilarious. But apparently it's in early developments. And there's nobody attached besides him so far. Warner Brothers Discovery is producing it again, and they're not saying who's directing anything else. Of course, it's very early. Barbie's not even out yet. But they're projecting Barbie to make $80 to $100 million opening weekend, which is big for a movie like this. And it might be a huge win for them opening weekend. So why not give him a spinoff? Now, Barbie's also going against Oppenheimer its opening weekend, so it'll be tough for it maybe. But then again, at Nolan's like 3.5 hour movie and Barbie at like 2 hours, it might lead more people toward Barbie. But living in a Barbie land, Ken's getting his Barbie dream, I guess. I don't know. But what do we think about a Ken spinoff? I'm just kind of like all over the place about this. I like him, but I think it's like too early to be jumping into spinoff territory. If you ask me, again, let the movie come out, it's probably gonna be fantastic. I think it will, but I don't know, it seems early to me to be doing this, but not even sequel yet. We're talking spinoff. Rachel, what do you think? You love this. You're excited about Barbie. You think this is good to do a Ken spinoff?
I think we'll have to see how the Barbie movie ends, like where that character ends up, to see how much a spinoff really is appropriate. I don't believe in doing sequels and spinoffs just for the sake of doing them. So we really have to see if there's really more to the character to explore. Apparently, he has good Kenergy, according to the casting directors and such. So cool if he wants to go out there and Ken it up. He's not really busy right now, so what else is he doing? Let him do it if it makes sense.
Yeah, I like the Kenergy. The Kenergy is great. I don't know. I think it could be awesome. People have been loving it. Sabrina, are you hating on this idea already? Do you think that Rachel's wrong that they shouldn't do this? Are you just like, hey, leave it be Barbie world?
I wasn't for any of this when I first heard about it. Let's be perfectly clear. So from the trailers that I've seen since then, I think it does look very funny, and I honestly think Ryan Gosling is very, very hilarious in the most recent trailer that I saw. And I think that it's very funny that everybody was throwing shade because he was too old. I already put that up there.
Yes, it did, Lexi.
I think that it's funny that everyone was throwing him shade for being too old. And now they're like, we're doing a Ken spinoff. I don't know. He seems super fun. I think it's going to be a fun movie. I also think it's also hilarious how people are like, is it going to be Barbie or Oppenheimer? I don't really think the same person is going to go see both of those movies. Some of the same people, yes, but I don't think it's targeted at the same audience. Like, I feel like, Oppenheimer is going to have a much more mature crowd and Barbie is going to have a much younger crowd. Generally speaking, there will be a lot of crossover in the middle. But that being said, like, for them to be like, is it going to be Barbie or Oppenheimer? I think it's slightly ridiculous and also hilarious.
I know. It's like the match of the century, Oppenheimer and Barbie. I mean, it's going to be two different crowds. It really is.
It'd be like if you put a Marvel against a DC movie, then people would be like, which one are they going to see? I mean, obviously Marvel, but that's a more like even playing field. You know what I mean? But for you to be like Oppenheimer or fucking I mean, it might as well be like Super Mario Brothers and Glory. You know what I mean? Like who's gonna see what? I wonder. It just seems. I mean, what? You didn't see Glory? It's a very good movie. I know I'm old. You didn't see Glory either, Rachel? It's a war movie with Denzel Washington and Matthew Broderick. It's a spectacular film.
I probably will see Oppenheimer, not opening weekend, because I just love the idea of Barbie winning opening weekend and really pissing off film bros. So I'll wait a little bit to see Oppenheimer, but I probably will see it in theaters. It's just a time period I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So I'll check it out.
I would see again. So there's like a middle crossover, but like, yeah. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people who are not going to even see both movies, period, let alone, in the theater. You know what I mean? I just think they're making a lot of hype for no reason.
I think it's just the hype, just because it's hilarious.
Yeah,
the hype is just there because it's funny.
Thank you, Lexi. Fun. Thank you, Lexi. Glory is one of her favorite movies. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I do think it's a funny matchup. The fact that people are like, oh, yeah, it's going to be Barbie versus Oppenheimer. But, that's what happens.
They're calling it like Barbieheimer or Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
Or something bizarre. I'm like, why are we doing this? I don't understand why we're doing it.
Yeah, it'd be like taking the new Deadpool movie and calling like Deadpoolrine or something like that, or Deadpoolrine.
I think that is our next topic actually up, you guys, is going to be the fact that there has been some breaking news on Wolverine's costume. We showed you Ryan Reynolds' costume on Friday, and today they have come out with a couple pictures about Wolverine's costume. It is the bright yellow costume, which is not seen except for in the comments. It has not been seen yet on film, which is kind of exciting. It's a new twist, a new touch, and there he is looking hot and sexy in his yellow Wolverine onesie. Brian, take it away.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, everybody. For the fans out there, been waiting for this. Of course, Hugh Jackman said he'd never wear the yellow Wolverine costume from the comics. That was a whole thing for years. They said they never do it, and Fox they said never do it. Well, they did 9 films without him being in it, from 2000 to 2017, from X-Men all the way to Logan. No yellow costume. James Mangold actually had it for a second for the Logan movie. They were going to maybe show it. They were going to tease it, but then the last minute, the studio said, no, we don't want to show it. So it never happened until now. But Ryan Reynolds tweeted this out, and they said, hey, you get your Wolverine in the yellow costume, not showing the guns like in the comics, but maybe he'll rip those off again at some point, because usually there's no sleeves. But Hugh Jackman's saying he's playing a dual role in this again, too. So maybe he'll be multiple Wolverines. Maybe this is the Wolverine from X-Men 97 right now. They haven't shown the mask yet or the cowl yet either, Lexi. We're going to see if that comes into play. I bet it will. I bet it's a whole thing. They're waiting to reveal that because you got this so far. So they're really getting into it. This movie comes out in May, of course, May 3rd, 2024. We got a lot of time, but it's been shooting. One of the only things really shooting right now during the writer's strike. One of the, besides Ryan Murphy's 3 shows, one of the only things that are still shooting. So it's a big thing.
Shots
People are going
fired.
nuts about it. You got Deadpool wearing his onesie we talked about on Friday. Now you got Hugh Jackman in his onesie with the belt and shit. I think it looks great. I'm excited about it. It's very accurate to the comics. You got the navy, you got the yellow, and it's sleek. It looks like like armor, like Mike Casey would love. If he was here today, he'd be talking about that. But I think it's great. I think fans should be excited that Marvel's taking it to this world. And we should be excited. We're finally getting Hugh Jackman's official Wolverine from the comics. Or maybe he's going to be that X-Men 97 character. He might be that, and then also be his Logan character from the X-Men series. Who knows? A lot of rumors going about this project. Sabrina, what do you think? Do you think this is great to put him in this uniform, or do you think they should have kept him more of the Fox universe and not show off the comic book yellow Wolverine that we all dreamed of since we were babies?
Wow, I was definitely not dreaming of any
You
of that when
dreaming
I
of
was a
Wolverine
baby.
a lot there,
I will say this: if those two men in those outfits burst into my home right now, it's the only people I wouldn't call the police on. Like, let's just be clear: if there's someone, if Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds walked in the house in their yellow and blue onesies, I would be like, or yellow and red onesies, I'd be like, "Yay, let's play a game!" And it's not going to be called the cops. I think it looks fabulous. I think Ryan Reynolds looks fabulous. I'm super excited about all of the things that are Deadpool 3. I don't put anybody in a box. I don't put anything in a box. I'm glad. I think he was never going to play Wolverine again, and he was never going to wear that outfit. So I think it's very fitting for him to come and do it another time and to be wearing the thing that he said they wouldn't wear just because he said he wasn't going to play the character again. And leave it to my man, Ryan Reynolds, my guy, making shit happen. That's all I got to say. Making shit happen.
And you can see the comic book actual reference next to Sabrina. So this is what it should look like. And it's very, very similar, actually, very similar, except the guns are out. The guns are out for this. So maybe he'll rip them off at one point. You never know. But yeah, they're going to the comic accurate yellow. And I agree with Sabrina. I'm like, Ryan Reynolds is the person to make this happen. Of course, there's more news on that after this we'll talk about. But what do you think, Rachel? Do you think this is a good look for Hugh Jackman? You think you're like, yeah, he looks good in yellow. I can agree upon this, or should he have stayed to the black leather X-Men outfit that he's worn so many times before?
I think they're ready for their sleepover party in their little onesie jammies. I think if they're going a different route with the character, if they're not trying to tie in the Fox universe as heavily, if it's like an alternate universe Wolverine, cool, awesome, great. Do the different costume. That gives a good visual distinction between the characters and their universes. If they're trying to make it the same character, then I think changing the costume was a mistake.
Yeah, and that's what people have been saying online too. A lot of people have agreed upon with you saying that, like, this is not our Wolverine. And like, what are they doing? And that's where all these rumors go into the multiverse stuff. And then, like I said, right. Hugh Jackman actually said in an interview saying he's playing a dual role. That's what he said. So it's like, maybe he's going to be playing that cartoony version, comic book version, but also the rough, because there have been pictures. This is a different look from him. The pictures that initially showed online, he had the beard from Logan. He had like the grizzled kind of look. So maybe he's playing the Logan character and playing this. And of course, that animated series X-Men 97 was supposed to come out on Disney Plus before this. It's still been delayed, but that was supposed to reboot that whole animated world. So maybe it's supposed to be that character branching out into this world too. But they're also saying Ian McKellen's back for this, Patrick Stewart, like Halle Berry, like everyone's coming back for this project. It's a big thing. So that might be why we have multiple X-Men. We have multiple Wolverine. Just like there's another character that's actually coming back into this movie too, that came out in like Ryan Reynolds himself, that man spoiling stuff ahead of time because he can't hold back. He's probably as excited as we are about this movie, but Elektra's coming back as well in Deadpool 3. That's right. Jennifer Garner is coming in to play her character from the Daredevil series from back in the day from Fox, where Ben Affleck was Daredevil and she was his Elektra. Now, she did her own spin-off movie too back in 2005. Of course, Daredevil came out in 2003, but Ryan Reynolds put it out there. He tweeted for the official account of his production company. He said, it's called Maximum Effort. He said, as I quote, he said, "Moms of future past, welcome to Deadpool, Jennifer Garner." So, and then he posted this picture of her, but also a picture of her from the Adam Project, which they actually starred together on. And Sean Levy actually is directing this too, which directed that. So they worked together before. So it makes you wonder if the wheel were kind of turning back then, that they were like, hey, we should probably bring you into Deadpool because we're doing that next. And, you know, they're not saying how big of her role is going to be. There's a lot of rumors out there. That's what it always is, rumors. But he said that she's there. Of course, we had Ben Affleck on set last week or 2 weeks ago. He was on set too, shooting scenes, probably as Daredevil again, which is kind of interesting. You're bringing in all these characters. But they're also saying that she might be part of the Illuminati, which I heard recently. And I'm like, they killed the Illuminati off in Doctor Strange too, so I can't imagine them bringing anybody back from then. But who knows? Who knows? What do you think about Jennifer Garner coming back? Sabrina, what do you think? Is this a good look for her to come back to the Deadpool universe, to the Marvel universe? Or do you think they should have gone with a new person, or maybe the person from the series, from the Daredevil series from Netflix? Do you think it's good to bring this older generation character back? What do you think? Is it good for her?
I'm sorry, do they have an Elektra in the new Daredevil universe?
She was in his universe before they switched over to Marvel, but they have not shown her yet.
Okay, well, screw her. She doesn't exist. I'm gonna go with Jennifer Garner. I'm a big fan of, like, I think, first of all, because it's Ryan Reynolds especially, and he's getting Hugh Jackman to do it, I feel like it's only appropriate to bring in as many, like, old school people as you possibly can. Like, think of what you just said: Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, right, and
Halle Berry,
Hugh Jackman, right? Jackman. So that's your base, right? But then you have Halle Berry. Like, why would you bring in a new Elektra? That doesn't even make sense. Like, I mean, especially with Ben Affleck being there, and if he's playing Daredevil, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they also had Charlie Cox playing a version of Daredevil if they're doing this whole multiverse thing, and maybe they will have a new Elektra. But if you're going to have Ben Affleck as Daredevil, it would stand to reason that you would have Jennifer Garner as Elektra. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. And with, like, the cameo crazy situation that seems to be going on here, like, I wouldn't be surprised. Remember in Deadpool 2 when they just, like, panned by the room and it was like all the
all the
X-Men, like the young versions of them, like Beast and Quicksilver and all of them. Like, it just was a quick pan by and they, like, kind of glance out the door. Like, this is going to be that on crack, and it's going to be like every version of everyone, and I'm really excited for it. There's, like, no one that you could bring me that I'm going to be like, no, I don't want that, unless it's oh wait, no, that's a DC, never mind, I'll shut my mouth. Everyone's
you never know. No, but there's all these, we talk about the Gambits coming into
well, that's
Channing,
new.
I can't say his name, but Channing Tatum. He's coming in.
It's like choo choo.
Channing Tatum.
Oh, nailed it.
Him as Gambit, there's a lot of stuff happening here. So it makes sense for Jennifer Garner. Also a very lovely human being. I worked on that Peppermint movie with her. So lovely. And she even, like, keeps her same people around at all times. Shout out to Nancy or Stan, and fabulous person. Tours everywhere with her. But great people.
He said that she was going to work on it, and I was like, oh, I'm so jealous of Nancy.
Right? I was like, Nancy's got to be there. He's always with her. So I'm like, damn it, Nancy, you're awesome.
With the way Deadpool operates, I'm just waiting for them to do basically like a Where's Waldo shot, and they just have all these people. They just showed up for like 5 minutes, took a quick picture, and left. Like, they're doing all this hype, and then they're, like, not actually super involved in the movie. I could see it going that way. I could see it being like an Avengers situation where they just have, like, a bunch of people heavily involved. I think it really could go any way, and it'll be really interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, it's gonna be, they're planning on, like, an Avengers type thing. It sounds like they're even talking about, like, a whole lineup. This X-Men versus these X-Men, and I was reading about that. Like, they're just trying to make it a big thing, and maybe the Avengers will come into this too. They're really putting a lot of stock in this. Plus, they're moving it up, so that's a big deal. Moving it up earlier, and it was supposed to come out in November. Now it's coming out in May. So I think they just expect this to be big.
Jump in production, given the fact that they don't have any idea what's going to happen with strikes in the near future.
Right, and that's the whole thing. It's very bold.
That they change her costume, because she really hated that costume.
She deserves better.
Well,
justice for
like,
Jennifer.
I hope they change her costume. They're changing everyone's costume. Please give that woman a different costume. She said it was so uncomfortable and so hard, and, like, she had to wear, like, all these silks to, like, fill in the top of the thing. Like, she's like, of course it's look really pretty, but they are super uncomfortable. Like, she just recently, maybe a month ago, spoke about it, and this is probably why, but no one put two and two together at the time. But she was just talking about how you know, the previous costume. I don't know. I hope they put her in something different, you know, that's more comfortable, especially being so many years later. I'm sure there's so much more technology with these superhero suits. Like I hope that she was comfortable while she was filming, because she is, like Brian said, a lovely human being.
And it makes you wonder though, because too, it could be just cameo territory. She might not even be in this that much. You know, it might just be her not even in the costume.
I mean,
You
it could be
know?
like Nicolas Cage, like being Superman for 2 seconds in the Flash. I mean, who knows? But
Who
I'm
knows?
all for
Yeah.
it.
But it's official
To
and
be
it's
fair,
happening.
that made Nick Cage's like life. He's always wanted to be Superman.
It
So,
made
like,
my
that
life
2
too. I
seconds
really enjoyed
made
it. People
his
were
entire
upset about
life.
it. I enjoyed it. People were mad.
It was cool.
I wasn't.
It was very exciting, especially to see him in that and then like fighting the metal spider, even though it was a CG mess in a lot of
Big metal
ways.
spider.
It was a CG mess in a lot of ways, but it was still cool and good for him. I'm so happy he got that opportunity. It's huge. It's huge. But another project that's coming back, just like Jennifer Garner, it's been a long time. Well, this has been going on for a long time too, and I'm talking about Twisted Metal, and I want to do an update on Twisted Metal because a new trailer came out, and of course, this show is based off of a game. It's a game. A game came out in 1995, November 5th, 1995. They've done 9 of these games. 9, it blows my mind all the way back to PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, PlayStation 3. But if you watch this trailer too, it seems a lot fleshed out, which it has to be. If you played the game was all about a contest that takes place around Los Angeles. And it's like all these drivers are called upon from various different vehicles to battle out to the death. And that's all it was. And this, it seems like there's much more happening in this universe compared to that. I like the idea of it being like this post-apocalyptic type world. I think that works. And, you know, they're branching out. They have to, like you see here, where they have Seattle, like a wall around it and stuff. And you have, of course, Anthony Mackie is like this guy just running missions. And that's kind of cool to me. But I don't know, like, overall, like, how this is going to be.
Rachel, what do you got for me on this trailer? How do you feel about it?
Anthony Mackie's hilarious. He has great comedic timing. I think he's going to be great in this show. I think it's interesting how they're having one actor portray Sweet Tooth, but Will Arnett is voicing Sweet Tooth, who is, of course,
Right.
the iconic clown from the series. If you know one piece of imagery from Twisted Metal, it's Sweet Tooth and his ice cream truck. Personally, being from Vegas, I think it's hilarious that they have him in charge of Vegas.
Don't go to Vegas.
Don't go to Vegas. So I think the thing about the show is it kind of reminds me, there was a show a few years ago, I think it was called something like that, where they were driving through the desert and all these crazy shit happened to them. So it feels like it's not necessarily the most original concept for a show. I think they kind of took bits and pieces from different elements that we've seen before, slapped Twisted Metal on it, shoved some iconography in it, and called it a day. Because it doesn't really feel like it has much from the game. And honestly, that game, I don't even know how you would convert it to any sort of show that would make any sense.
There's not much to it.
Blood Race, Lexi put down there. Blood Race was the show I was thinking about, where we're just kind of going through crazy shit, and this show seems to have a lot of reminiscent to that. Great cast. The trailer does seem interesting. I probably will watch this show, but I don't know if it needed to lean on the Twisted Metal IP. I don't know how relevant that really is anymore.
Yeah, I don't again, it's like, is this really even Twisted Metal? Like, what do you do with Twisted Metal? Like, honestly, like you were saying, there's not much to the actual game. There's just people shooting each other. That's it. And so, like, you have to steal from something to make a premise here. And that's what they're kind of doing. What you're saying, it sounds 100% legit to me. That's what they did. And it does look like it'd be fun, but like, I don't know, Will Arnett, I'm just like, all right, Will Arnett, Blood Race, totally, Lexi, Blood Race. I don't know, Sabrina, what do you think? Does this amp you up anymore for this project? Or are you like, you can't be sold on this, you're not going to watch it, and no, hard pass?
I mean, it's slightly less annoying than the last teasers that they, you know, put out, because neither of those made me want to do anything near this movie. Lexi just said it's clearly made by the Deadpool writer. That's honestly the only thing that remotely interests me, is the fact that it's by the Deadpool people, because I love Deadpool. Obviously, part of the reason why I love Deadpool is because I love Ryan Reynolds. And if you watch that trailer and you picture Ryan Reynolds saying all of those lines that Anthony Mackie said, I think it sells better. Just saying. Also, Nev Campbell, really? That's where we're going with the villain sneaky lady is going to be Nev Campbell. Hard pass on that, personally.
I love Nev Campbell.
Oh, please. What, from Party of Five or from Scream? Like, I don't even know what that means.
Just
Nev
existing.
Campbell is, you're 5. How do you even know Nev Campbell? She's like in my age of people who watch TV. Yeah, I wasn't super excited to see her. I'm just not super excited for any of it. I also think like Will Arnett's voice behind the clown man Brian, who is he, the wrestler?
Samoa Joe.
For some reason that's weird for me because I know it's Will Arnett and it does not, it weirds me out because it's not, if it was a cartoon, it'd be different, but it's a person. So for some reason that's like weirding me out. I've never played the video game, so I have no basis of comparison. Anthony Mackie is very talented. You know, there are some, he did have some good moments. I feel like it's mashing a lot of things together and it's really holding on to pretty much nothing, if you ask me. I don't know. The guy was funny, the random guy when he was like, I've never seen anyone chop off a human like that.
That was good.
That was amusing. But like nothing that was like, oh yeah, let me go see this movie. It's gonna be fucking great. I'm not feeling it.
I think there is some validation to this. Might be okay. I don't know. I might want to watch it. It does sound interesting. Anthony Mackie is great. The cast, like even Thomas Hayden Church popping up there too. I was like, oh, I didn't know you were in here.
That was weird for me. That was weird for me.
I kind of like him as the cop. I think it could be good. But you know, it's a different take on the whole thing. And like you're saying, Rachel, about Twisty being like the person behind Vegas was really cool too. I think it was like, don't go to Vegas. You're going to be chopped up by a clown or it'll chop your head off. So we'll have to wait and see. It's coming out July 27th, but I think this does do more for me than the trailers that have been out before. Really didn't show much besides, you know, them dancing to the thong song at one point.
I will say this, good music. Good music. All the music that you've put out, good music so far. Love me some DMX. I mean,
DMX, great.
I would never be like, oh, let's play the song, but it's nostalgic, 100% nostalgic. Yep, you got it.
But speaking of nostalgia, Sabrina, there's more nostalgia coming your way because apparently there's a reboot, well, kind of continuation of The Mummy coming. That's what's happening now in development. Now, they've been developing this since December, apparently, when the actual directors from the Batgirl came on board, which, you know, the thing is, like, will they still be attached? Who knows after the Batgirl was canceled and taken off. But the directing team of Adel El Arabi and Bill Alfala are actually being attached to this. And I don't know if they're going to be doing this still or not. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see if they continue going forward because I'm not really sure about this. But apparently, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's attached to be the Scorpion King again. Also, Rachel Weisz is attached. And now, just recently, Oded Fair and John Hannah came on board. And if you wonder who they are, well, Oded Fair was actually the guardian of the temple and the mummy to make sure it's buried and not disturbed. And John Hannah was the brother who was stealing stuff and causing shenanigans for the whole time, Rachel Weisz's brother. So those two are coming back. Now Hannah did all 3 movies, but Oded Fair only did like the first 2. And of course, here's the elephant in the room. Where's Brendan Fraser, though? He's the only person that's not been talking about this, been involved with this. I think the thing is, though, he said in an interview not too long ago, he said, I don't know how it would work out, but I'd be open to it if someone came up with the right concept. So the idea is if they're all involved, I'm guessing Brendan Fraser's coming back. I mean, he has to, right? I mean, the Tom Cruise one didn't work out. So what do? As a studio, you can't make big bucks with Tom Cruise as a reboot. So what do? You bring the old team back. That's what you do. Bring back the old team and do it again one more time. And they better have the original Mummy back. They haven't said about him either because he was great. He was freaking awesome. But I don't know. Do we need a Mummy reboot? Do we need a Mummy 4? This would technically be. Do we need that? Sabrina, what do you think? Would you watch a Mummy 4 if everybody's back, the whole gang? Or do you think they should just let the mummy die like the Tom Cruise version did and keep it buried in the desert forever with all those tombs that are still not found?
Wow, that was such an intense question for something so silly. I will see it if Brendan Fraser's in it. How do you say it properly? Fraser. Brendan Fraser. Channing Tatum. Just kidding. Okay. So if Brendan Fraser is back, I will see it. Also, I was very disappointed in the whole Tom Cruise situation, and it wasn't even that bad of a movie. It just was like, who needed it? Who wanted it? It was just, it was pretty useless. And so when I saw a reboot of The Mummy, I was like, oh, please, sweet baby Jesus. But if we go back to the original situation, and Brendan
Back to
Fraser
95.
is back, and Rachel Weisz and all the peoples, I will see it. I mean, I'll be honest, it's probably going to be similar to what's happening with Indiana Jones right now, but I'll still watch it.
Which you can compare these movies quite a bit, actually. It's kind of the same kind of genre, the, adventure, like MacGuffin type thing, go out in the middle of the desert and find something. So it's kind of in the similar territory, but I feel like this might do better. I mean, honestly, after the last one did so bad and it didn't have the original cast, and now the original cast could be coming back, I mean, it could do better, right, Rachel? What do you think? Do you think that Brendan Fraser should sign on and do this and join the crew and go back to the desert one more time and fight that mummy? Or do you think he should stick around and be a whale for a while and stop doing that?
I think he absolutely will sign up and come back. He speaks very fondly of the Mummy franchise. He's not one of those actors who is like trying to shove off his most popular franchise. Like, he embraces it. He loves it. He goes to fan screenings of it sometimes and like talks to the crowd, and like he's about it. So I think he'll definitely come back for it, especially with having Rachel Weisz back. Like, absolutely. I could not be more thrilled for this. This was every bisexual child of the 90s favorite movie. The cast was immaculate. Look at the cast. Just look at them. Question answered. Done.
Moving on.
Look at those beautiful people. How could you not love every single person in that film?
How about Imhotep too? You gotta give Imhotep some love too.
Yeah, once he's back in his like body shape and not a scary sand person, like absolutely, highs all around. So let's get some middle-aged hotties back into this. Absolutely, let's do this. I'm here for it. Make it right now.
The question is, though, do you bring in, because they tried doing that the third one, they brought his son in. Do you try to bring like a younger character in to lead the pack? Or do you just let them be like, I mean,
either do it or don't do it. Don't half-ass me.
I think if you're going to have a younger character, you do a younger version of the Guardians. You show like the next generation of the people who are protecting the curse, like protecting the world from the curse. I think that would be the only interesting way to bring in a younger character.
And then Brendan Fraser fucks it all up again.
Yeah, he fucks it up. Rachel Weisz, or probably the brother.
Probably the brother.
Was
You're
the
right.
one fucking everything up. So it's probably he fucks it up. Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz have to come back and reunite because they're divorced in the third movie. And
that's true.
They come back. They're in love again. Everyone's happy. It's fantastic. Make it right now.
But do we do a new mummy then? Is it a new mummy though? That's the question. Or is it the same mummy from the first one somehow? In the first two, I should say.
No, isn't there only one mummy?
No, because Jet Li did one in the third one, right?
Yeah, they did like an Asian situation for the third movie.
But were they in Asia?
Yeah.
Were they on a different continent?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's mummies in all the continents.
That movie, people really don't like that movie.
Yeah, I think that if Brendan Fraser came back and everybody else apparently wants to come back, then why would we not do it? And so the movement's already been happening for a while, working forward for this, getting people on board. And then once the whole gang is back, Brendan Fraser's going to say yes. If he hasn't said yes already, because he probably has already. They just hasn't gotten out there yet. They're probably waiting to make a big announcement about this. And it would probably happen over this whole, which has just been going on, like all the big geekathon, like big Comic-Con things. But the problem is with all the strikes and everything else, everything's kind of been like subdued and no one really wants to make any announcements right now until people are back to work 100%.
In reality, he was probably the first one to sign back on with the whole Fraser Renaissance. I can't see them moving forward with this project if he wasn't part of it.
Yeah. I just can't see it either. Like, what's the point? If everyone's there but him, what's the point? He's the main focus of that project. So I'm excited about it. It could be good. It could be really good. And you know what also could be really good is the ending of Doom Patrol. But the problem is we might never find out if it is good. And that leads me to our featured story of the night. Get it? All right, everybody. I want to talk about Doom Patrol because Doom Patrol has been a long time coming. We haven't heard a thing about the last half. Now, the first half aired, right, aired a long time ago now, everybody. The last half aired like 7 months ago. And what's been happening? Well, Titans also aired the same time, and Titans got their second half. We had trailers, we had releases, weekly releases, all of it's out. Titans is done. But where's Doom Patrol? That's the question. Doom Patrol is nowhere to be seen, and that's a problem. Apparently, they might cut it. They might just drop the whole thing. They might get rid of the back half and write the whole thing off as a tax thing. And they haven't done any kind of trailers. They haven't done anything for it. And fans are going crazy about it. Everyone's going nuts about it, being like, where is Doom Patrol? How do you release Titans and not release Doom Patrol? And I put that out there too. I'm like, where is it? Come on, HBO. Come on, Zaslav. Give us the end of Doom Patrol. But apparently, you see what's been happening with HBO Max. With Max, they've been writing shit off like Batgirl. We just talked about it. That might happen with Doom Patrol, and we will never see the back half. And that's very unfortunate. And even Madame Rouge, who plays one of the main casts on there, she was tweeting about it, being they might bin it, they might put it away and never see it again. And she's like, how would you do that with Brendan Fraser, an Academy Award-winning actor on this show? How do you not air the end of it? Because we deserve to see it and fans should riot. But no news, nothing, just crickets at WB. What do you think, Sabrina? What do you think about this? Do you think they're not going to release Doom Patrol? Do you think the fans are going to suffer and we're not going to get to see the end of this product? Or do you think it's a strategery, in the words of George W. Bush, and they'll find a way to make it happen very soon?
That's a really good question. I think that David Zaslav is only concerned with his $2 million a week that he makes, and he can give a shit less about anyone who watches HBO or who watches anything from WB. I think he cares about his pockets, and he doesn't care about us. So as someone who watches Doom Patrol and enjoys Doom Patrol, I think it's super shitty that they're not going to show us something that's already shot and done so that we can have an ending. And then they choose to give us an ending to Titans, which is a far inferior show, in my personal opinion. And I think Doom Patrol is so much better and has such a bigger cult following than Titans ever did or ever would. So I think it would be super shitty for them not to show that to us. However, Zaslav, with his $2 million a week check, I think is totally fine with canning it, collecting a tax break so that he can keep money in his pocket, not giving a shit about the fans. So honestly, I don't know what they're going to do. I hope they do the right thing, but history and the person who is running your company does not really give me too much faith, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, Sabrina, with the way they've been building it up though, too, it seems like to not do an ending now, it just seems really messed up for the fans, right? Don't you
Absolutely.
think that this is the worst thing a studio could do?
100%. That's what I just said. He does not give a shit about us. He doesn't care about the viewer. He cares about, making his paycheck and then eventually making money for Warner Brothers Discovery. He's most worried about his paycheck. I mean, honestly, no joke, in 2022, he made $2 million a week. That's not me exaggerating. That is a factual number. $2 million a week he made. But, they're going bankrupt and they're suffering and they need that. How about you take a pay cut, bro? How about that? How about you take a pay cut, give us our content, pay your fucking writers, and stop being an asshole? Personally, I don't see any reason, justification. I don't care what you say. There is zero reason that you should not give us these last episodes of this show that we have invested our time and effort and caring into. We love the show. Fans love the show. And although there have been moments where it fell off the track a little bit, I don't know one person, that has watched it that doesn't want to see an ending. We want to see an ending. It's shot. It's done. Show us the ending. But, that will hurt.
Give us the ending.
That's going to hurt your numbers. It's going to hurt your profits, because if you claim it as a loss, then that whole thing doesn't count and you'll get a tax credit. So, I mean, someone who's making $2 million a week and not making a deal with the writers, I don't really have any faith that they're going to do the right thing, personally.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's really unfortunate. And WB's been one of those problems too. And it's if you have something done and it's good and you have a fan base, I mean, Batgirl even, it's they just said fuck Batgirl, but in that Keaton involved and all that. This is a show that's been going for 5 seasons. Give people the ending. You already have it done. Just give it to us. Rachel, what do you think? Do you think that Zaslav's going to write this whole thing off and not bring it out and say F you fans? Or do you think that he'll eventually do the right thing and release Doom Patrol and let the fans have the proper ending that they've been waiting for 7 months? I mean, they might as well have just dropped it all at the same time, right?
Right. I don't think we're getting an ending, which is truly very disappointing. I've been watching this show since the first episodes came out on the old DC streaming service before
So
HBO
long.
acquired it. And, since season 1, I've been watching the show, and it's one of the most unique and well-shot superhero properties I have seen. It's so different from everything else that we've been given. And like Sabrina said, the fan base is strong. It might be small, but the people who like it really fucking like it. And I think it did suffer from just not having enough advertising and visibility.
What do you think
At
about
some
between Titans though? It's like, why would they do Titans and not do this? You know?
I can't imagine.
because they're fucking stupid.
Yep.
Maybe Titans cost less money to make.
I
It
cannot
costs
see
like
how.
cheap shit.
Yeah, they're both in the
Um,
can though. That's what's really frustrating. They're both done.
right,
They just had to do post work
right.
on it. Maybe
But
there's a lot more posts for this.
if you're gonna use one as a tax write-off, you use the one that costs more money, and that was
Yeah.
probably Doom Patrol. At what point do we look at the streaming service and go, this is no longer a content production service and is more of a tax fucking racket? This feels like fraud, what they're all doing with how many shows they're
Yep.
pulling and how much finished work they're just yanking to get money back, essentially. It feels like a fucking tax racket. There's no other way to put it. It's fraudulent. It's bullshit. And if people actually gave a shit, they would try to do something to stop this on a governmental level.
Yeah, they should.
I'm sure they will eventually, but like it's so new. I feel like this is just like
Right.
they've just started the scheme. So like it's gonna take a minute for people to be like, wait a minute, this is fucked up. We're giving you all of this. That's not fair. That's not cool. But it's always like
Right.
unfortunately the system is like built to help the rich. Like, this guy makes the company itself is a $1 billion company, but this guy makes $2 million a week. Like it's that how the
This
system is
disgusting.
built to protect someone. Like, oh, you know what? This was a fuck up. We're just gonna throw it in the trash, not show the people, and I'll just take a tax credit for. Like that's ridiculous.
And
If
at
you
some
tried to
point
do that
can-
on your taxes, you would get audited.
Well, absolutely. At some point, with the impending and current strikes, can the Writers Guild and Actors Guild step in and say, hey, you can't keep pulling shows because that fucks with our residuals and that fucks with our, ability to actually get paid for doing the work that we've done.
No, I mean they're arguing on that, but there's no rule. I mean, that's the boss.
There's
They're
no
the boss.
current rule for it, but I mean, if they have enough leverage with almost 3 out of 4 of the major guilds striking about to be, they have some pretty decent
They could be put in there.
leverage.
Yeah, but I mean, as of
They could
now,
put it in
there's
there, but I think they're just going to let it keep happening.
There's no. I mean, it's super unfortunate, but again, it's so new. This is not something that they like. This is like it's like as the new media shit evolves, and as the streaming shit evolves, like these other things are happening. And I feel like it's a loophole. Like you said, I honestly agree with you. I feel like it is it's fucking criminal. Like it's not. I don't know how you can get away with it. So, and now everyone's starting to do it, and people are shelving things on there, and just putting stuff away forever and ever, which is like, isn't the point of having like a streaming home, like so that you can have everything there at your fingertips and not have to go and buy a DVD or, go to Blockbuster like we used to do or whatever, you know what I mean? Like
And they're taking the physical option. A lot of these
Exactly.
digital media things have not been really, like, you only get like the big ones like Game of Thrones and like Sopranos and stuff. You get that on physical media, but some of these smaller shows are never going to have a physical release.
Yep.
So
Never.
they're just
That's what Lexi was saying too.
And that's what pisses me off too. It's like what Sabrina was saying too. It's like, you have like this service that's supposed to be all your content on, and we pay a premium service fee to get access to it, but you put it back in the vault or you sell it off to somebody else and have to pay a different streaming service, or you just don't give it to us after you promoted the whole thing over and over and over again. This will be an issue that I think will be brought up in contracts eventually, because on top of that, you also have the actors are getting screwed out of money. When you take a tax write-off, all of a sudden they're not getting their back end points. They're not getting paid, which a lot of these streaming services too, they try to like X-nay on the residuals as it is, which people have been fighting for. Writers are right now.
The actors, but like the smaller actors get residuals, but also like the writers, and I mean everybody involved.
Everybody.
No one's getting anything on the back end.
They're all getting fucked.
Except the studios. Studio's making great money. They're like, oh yeah, we lost some money, write it off, get us all back. That sounds great. Like fuck that, you know? So it just makes me upset because I'm a big fan of Doom Patrol, and I saw this, and it's like one of those things that people have been talking about, like, where's Doom Patrol? And the fact that Titans, and I watched the end of Titans, because I watched all that, you know, I don't know why I watched it, but I watched it. It's not good. I would never recommend anybody to watch it. It's one of those things where you start watching something and you want to see how it ends, just because you're like, well, how is this shit turd fucking end? And then I see how it ends, and I'm like, oh, that's what I expected. All right, cool, whatever. You know, and it's just like, that
But
got its ending.
What was
Brother
the most
Blood got
interesting?
his.
What was the most interesting episode of Titans?
I would say the Gotham season was the best season. Last season
of this season, what was the best episodes?
Probably the first one with Titus in it.
And then what was the second best?
The Doom Patrol one.
Thank you.
You know, I also liked how on Doom Patrol, they had Doom Patrol crossover. I liked how, you know, they actually had Cyborg be Cyborg again. I didn't care for him becoming human again on Doom Patrol. I'm like, he's Cyborg. Leave him Cyborg. Now he's just bitching in a corner the whole time about how he can't do anything.
Well, and if the show had gotten to keep going, who knows what would have happened with that character.
Well,
maybe he got overpowered somehow.
Season 4 and 5 and whatever, he may have gone back to being Cyborg.
Yeah,
but we'll never know. And
we'll never know now.
Like HBO used to mean something. HBO used to
mean box office
quality and good content and reliability. Yeah. And it just feels like the last 5 years, it just keeps going downhill. Yeah,
I agree. And now that it's Max, you're not even HBO anymore. So, and that's what everybody had a hard time saying. It's like, you're getting rid of your brand name. It's like who you are. You are HBO. You are home box office. That brand alone had built so many shows and so many actors and so many memories. And the fact that they didn't go with it, it's upsetting.
HBO used to carry like such prestige with it. It used to be such a prestige brand, and it just now it just means nothing.
But to me, HBO, you're messing up completely. Zaslav, I get it. You're trying to like make your money back because you bought the company at a loss. You're scrapping all the DC stuff. That stuff's bombing. Something like this, just give it to the fans. Give them something. Give them Doom Patrol.
Please,
we want it. We need it. Give us those 6 episodes because, you know, if you're already canceling our show, give us a proper ending. That's all I'm asking for. Simple.
Squish them
anyway, everybody.
Release a 3-hour movie. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
We'll take it. You know, we just want an ending. Everybody wants a proper ending to their show they've been watching for a long time, and this deserves it. Brendan Fraser deserves it. Everybody deserves it on this show. Give it to us. Give it to us now, now, now. I want it. I want it. I want it. Please. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for being here on Kruse Control tonight. Happy Monday, everybody. Crazy shit's happening. We'll be back here on Wednesday for our Wednesday edition, and we'll be off on Friday this week, just to let you know, because I'll be traveling. But anyways, thank you, everybody, for being here. Rachel, thank you for being back here on Kruse Control, the enigma, the charismatic, crazy cheetah. I don't know what it said earlier. Rachel Blakely, thank you for being here tonight on Kruse Control. Appreciate you.
Dangerously delicious is what you said.
Dangerously delicious. Always energetic, and sometimes quick. Fanatic, I don't know. Sabrina, thank you so much for being here on Kruse Control. Wow. As always, appreciate you, the lovely Sabrina Vittori, writer, actor, producer. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And as always, tell your friends, your families, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your nephews, your squirfs, your smurfs. Yeah, your smurfs and your snorks and your fucking squirrels that are also smurfs because they have red hats and they're scraggles and they're fraggles and they're cats and they're bats and they're yellows and they're blues and they're greens and the dwarfs. Tell them all. And the suckles, the people that suckle on things. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Watch Kruse Control. Everybody out there. Check it out, check it out, check it out. We love you so much. Have a great night. And see ya.